Join us this Christmas Eve at 7 p.m. for a festive Spiritual Soundscapes Christmas presentation, concluding with a special candle lighting experience guided by your very own Reverend Laura Hallett. Enjoy the evening as CSLGLV vocalists and special guest artists fill our hearts with holiday joy, performing classic Christmas songs and carols. It's music to your ears with a wintry atmosphere streaming to your living room. Prepare your candle and relax for the evening as we celebrate the eve of Christmas as a community virtually this holiday season.
Well, good morning, everyone. Merry Christmas. Welcome. Hey. We are inside, we are warm, and we have bathrooms. Isn't this great? It doesn't get much better than that. And what a wonderful turnout we have this morning for our holiday celebration. I see some familiar faces that I haven't seen for a while, and I'm so happy to have you back here with us. We are, anticipating our new building as soon as we get the permits. So if you hold that in your consciousness and your prayer work, please, for a speedy process on the permitting for Clark County here. So we are going to start off our morning with some beautiful music. We have our three talented vocalists with us here today in person to bring us some holiday cheer. So we're going to start it off with Melissa and Justin.
Good morning.
Christmas time is here, happiness and cheer, fun for all the children call their favorite time of year. Snowflakes fill the air, carols everywhere, olden times and ancient rhymes of love and dreams to share. Sleigh bells in the air, beauty everywhere, Yuletide by the fireside, and joyful memories there. Christmas time is here, we'll be drawing near. Oh, that we should always see this spirit through the year. Sleigh bells in the air, beauty everywhere, could always see such spirit through the year, such spirit through the year. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, everybody.
Oh, how beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Justin. And that was a great arrangement of that song, too. What a wonderful way to start us off. And so at this point, I'd like to invite up our practitioner of the day, who's sneaking up here, to lead us in an invocation.
Remember the last time I wanted a mic and to be mic'd? I'm better this time. So let us go within. We, like all others, are seeking the joy of living, to be needed, to serve, to be loved, and to love, to be filled with the divine creative urge. The urge is creative joy. It flows over. So let us go within to pray. I know the grace of God. I know the peace of God. I have the grace of God. I have the peace of God. I am the grace. I am the peace. I have been given quietness, confidence, and stillness. I have God's life, which is eternal, immortal life. Knowing that I am all that God is, having no human desires, and seeking nothing of any person. I only seek the privilege of sharing God's grace, making my mind that mind which is Christ. I already have all. Therefore, I pray only for the opportunity to share everything that the Father has given me. I celebrate this life in great joy. I am so grateful as I release this truth into the law. It is done, and so it is.
Thank you, Clayton. What a wonderful way to start us off this morning. Well, of course. Absolutely. Do you need some help, Nancy? Thank you. We're so grateful to have the location that we have and to have a full house, and so we are happy to pull in more chairs. It's wonderful to come together again in community this way. Get them all? Okay. Just give it a minute here. There's 3 chairs up here if they... Yeah, we have three empty chairs up front. And while we're giving a round of applause, let's give a round of applause to Nancy Romice, who arranged this place for us. We're so grateful we have community. Whoops. I haven't drunk either. We're so grateful to have community that supports us so beautifully and so generously in our lives. So this month we are talking about community. Our theme for December is community. It's supporting our theme for 2022, which is living everyday wonder. And each month we've looked at a different structure in our lives and how we can find more joy, more wonder, more creativity, more connection through each one of these life structures. And so this month our focus is on community. Our title for today is Ode to Joy. And as Clayton said so beautifully in her invocation, there is a joy that is bubbling up within us, and it gets magnified when we come together in groups like this, when we come together with people who we resonate with, when we come together with people that we have things in common with, when we come together with people we don't even know, but there's something about them that intrigues us, something about them that catches us. It's like, I don't know this person, but I think I want what they've got. There's something about that that happens, and it builds up this amazing joy within us as we're moving through that. You know, in the Bible, it's written, where two or more are gathered, I am there. When two or more people come together, there's something magnificent that happens that wasn't there in the beginning. You know, it's what Aristotle said when he said that the sum is greater than the whole of its parts. Or the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. There we go. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. We have all these disparate parts that we put together, and we could say that there's three when three people come together, but there's something more than those three people. There's something greater that happens, and that's that joy and life that gets magnified when we come together in consciousness like that. Well, some of you may be science geeks like me. Well, this week in science, the Secretary of Energy said it is the event of the century. It is the most significant event of the century. Scientists at the Livermore Laboratory were able to do nuclear fusion and actually create more energy than they use to create the nuclear fusion, which is the first time it's ever happened. And so in nuclear fusion, you're taking two atoms that are similar. They're not quite exact, but they're both hydrogen atoms. They use a hydrogen atom that has extra neutrons in it that they find in seawater. And they use one that they find in lithium. And when I was reading this article about it, I didn't know this, but the United States' largest lithium mine is about 3 hours north of here at Silver Peak, Nevada. So we are the number one producer of lithium in the country. And lithium, you know, you use that in batteries and things like that, but there's this component of lithium called tritium, which has a few extra neutrons in it. It's a type of hydrogen, has a few extra neutrons. And when they put those two similar but slightly different things together, they created more power than they had ever been able to create before. They created enough power to run 60 cars for a year in that one fusion of those two little atoms of hydrogen that they brought together. When two or more come together, there's something magnified. There's something that becomes greater. There's something that actually cannot be described until it is experienced. And that's what happens when we come together in community. So this month we've been looking at community in several different ways. The first week we talked about community and this idea of belonging to community as one of our basic survival instincts. It's something that's absolutely critical for us to have. It's right there on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right in the middle of the pyramid that he has for his hierarchy of needs. We have the idea of belonging. Belonging is critical to human survival, to human well-being. And so the sense of belonging that we can develop in community is actually hardwired into our DNA, that we need this, that we need to have it. We've talked about how healthy communities honor diversity. Just like with those two hydrogen atoms, they weren't exactly the same. There was a little bit of difference between them. And when they came together, there was something really powerful. And so when we have people, we're all human beings, and we all have a little bit of differences in us. And when those differences come together, something beautiful gets created. Something richer, something more powerful gets created when they come together. We talked about how personal transformation is critical to the transformation of a community. If we're not doing our own inner work, if we're not looking at our own issues, if we're not trying to clear away those things that have kept us playing small, those things that have limited us in any way, if we're not looking at that and doing the work that we need to do for that, then we don't go into this community the best way that we can. We need to be able to do our work of transformation so that the community itself can be transformed. We've talked about the language that we use. Is the language that we're using when we're in community together inclusive, or is it divisive? Are we bringing people together by the way that we talk to each other, or the way that we talk about each other, or are we creating more of a sense of separation? And so how critical it is to consciously use our language to build community. Then we looked at the idea of curiosity, and how if we approach each situation when we're in community together with a curious mind, then we're more open to the possibility that's available there. If we approach someone that we see and they're different, for some reason they're different, and we approach them thinking, ooh, there's something wrong with this difference, we're not open to any possibilities there. We've limited ourselves right now. We've already made a judgment about it. We've already decided this is not the way it should be. And so we close ourselves off to the possibilities that are available if we approach that situation with curiosity and we begin to try to understand each person in community that we come together with. You know, our theme for this month is based on the Science of Mind principle that comes from our global vision statement, which we envision a world in which we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life. We grow together when we honor each other. When we show up in those things that I just talked about, when we show up as a place of transformation, when we show up with curiosity, when we look at the language and we check what we're saying before we say it, and actually be deliberate about how we interact with people, we grow as a global family. And again, that can only magnify and enhance our world. As we come together in community, we uplift the world around us. You know, these communities that we have are built upon the longing to connect with each other. We come together in groups that have some similarities, that have some differences, that have some needs, some wants, some desires. And we come together with this desire to belong, desire to be with other people. It's showing up right here today. There was a huge desire to be with other people as we celebrate this holiday season. I spoke earlier this month about how communities move through the stages of consciousness just like we do individually. Currently, our community right now, we would call us in the manifestor consciousness. We're making something happen. We're building a new community here at Center for Spiritual Living. We are allowing something to grow and be birthed from within us. But we are also doing that at the third stage of consciousness, which is the channel consciousness, which we are allowing Spirit to come through us. And so our work that we do for all of the projects and everything that we are planning for our upcoming building and so forth are done through the process of visioning, which is a channeling, not in the typical way of channeling, but it's a way of allowing Spirit to come through us. We ask questions that guide us to opening up and listening to Spirit's inner voice and allowing it to come through us. And so as we do that, we get wonderful things. We When we do that, we open ourselves in that idea of curiosity, and we open ourselves up to infinite possibilities. If we don't approach a situation with, I know what's best here, I know how this should be, this is what I think it should be, we've limited ourselves to that one narrow box. But if we open it up with, what is the highest idea for what's wanting to unfold here, we open ourselves up to limitless possibilities, where the infinite can flow through us at all times. You know, one of the ideas of being in community is about culture. And culture is based on shared values. It's where we establish meaning based on our values, our purpose, our significance of things. So we develop a culture in there. In 2003, the UNESCO, which is the United Nations Education, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, established the conventions for safeguarding cultural heritage in the world. And they say that cultural heritage has 4 qualities. It's alive in people today, yet it remains a reflection of the past. And so if we think about our Science of Mind teaching right now, it is alive in each one of us. These ideas, these principles, these things that we practice, they're alive in us right now, and they are doing their work and transforming our lives. And so much of it is based on the work of up to 100 years ago, when our founder, actually a little more than 100 years ago, our founder wrote his first book in 1915, Creative Mind. Yeah, 1915. And the work that he did with that is still alive in us. It's part of our heritage. We have these wonderful phrases that we use, change your thinking, change your mind. They are embedded within our psyche. They are part of what we live. It is done unto you as you believe. It is part of what we are, what we think, how we act, and how we show up in the world. It's how we face the situations that we encounter. So it's alive in us today, but it reflects our past. It's inclusive, because when we practice it, we build social cohesion. So as we practice our spiritual practices that we do here, our meditation, our visioning, our journaling, our prayer, all of the things that we do here at Centers for Spiritual Living, we are creating social cohesion. We are coming together to experience each of the things that we're working on, each of the issues that we're working on. We're experiencing them as a collective and yet as an individual. And so that we get to build this cohesive feeling of community. It's representative, which means it's supported by the elders and the experts in the community. Not only is it supported by the experts in Science of Mind, but it is now moved out much further than that. We have lots of mainstream authors who are writing Science of Mind stuff. It actually shows up in commercial things that we see around us. You see it in books. See it in greeting cards. My favorite example of it was on the commercial for apartments.com when we had change your apartment, change your life. So it's supported by our experienced people. It's supported by our elders, but it's also supported by experts around the world. Even like I said with the science, we can find the science to support everything that we talk about. And it's community-based, in that no one can define it for you. You have to begin to define it for yourself. Your community is how you define it. Your community can be the group of people, your neighbors around you. Your community could be this church family right here. Your community could be your coworkers. Your community could be your bowling team. Your community could be the people that you choose to spend time with. It is up to you to define it. And no one has the right to determine whether that's the right community for you or not. That's an individual decision. But by learning about each other, by looking at these ideas of culture and developing this rich sense of culture, we develop a broader sense of our own capacity to embody spirit. As we begin to understand people better, we begin to see how spirit expresses itself in such a much broader and wider range than we could ever imagine before. Sometimes someone will say something like, well, isn't that a unique way that spirit's showing up? Now, they don't always mean it in a nice way, but they do say that. It's like, but look at that. If you look at somebody, isn't that a unique and interesting way that spirit is showing up here today? At each encounter that you have, you can begin to look at that. Well, look at Spirit today moving through this person. People are open to it, moving through them to the level that they are aware of it. But as we begin to come together in community and share our experiences of Spirit coming through us, moving through us, showing up as us, then we begin to open up to the possibilities that are available when it shows up through someone else. And it makes a much more harmonious time in our lives. This idea of harmony is so well represented in things like our orchestras, our symphonies. I actually wanted to see how many people are in an orchestra, and I looked it up, and it's like anywhere from 44 to 100 is what I found. But there are lots and lots of different people playing the same instrument, but they're playing something totally different. And so we have things that look alike. We have like all the woodwind instruments in an orchestra. And you may have 3 of them, but they're all playing 3 different parts. Or you might have 20 string instruments in an orchestra, and there are various kinds of those, and each one of those is playing a different part. And they come together, and they weave together to create this beautiful melody that would not be possible if it were not for each one of us individually. As we begin to explore and understand all of those disparate parts coming together, we get a greater experience of life around us. Our community is built on 3 things. It's built on what was, what currently is, and what is yet to be. And so what was in our community? Many of you have been in this community for many, many years. Many of you grew up as children in this community or raised your children in this community. We have with us today a couple of people who have some very historical relationship to this community. One of them is our own beloved Fran Peterson, whose husband was one of the very first members of this community. He made his transition last year, but what is it now, Fran, 40 years? 40 years in this community. Sitting next to Fran is Nancy. Nancy grew up in this church. Her father was a member, her mother and father were a member of this church. Her father, you may have heard of him. His name was Vincent Shank, and he just passed away a couple of weeks ago. He was a 106-year-old World War II prisoner of war. In 2019, Governor Sisolak named September 19th as Vince Shank Day here in Nevada. I actually printed out the proclamation if anybody's interested in reading it. I have it up here. Vince raised his family here. Vince grew up here. In the proclamation, it says in here that Vince said that meditation, a positive attitude, and plenty of hobbies contributed to his long life. Meditation, I bet you he pretty much learned that in our centers, or at least was exposed to it here in our centers. These are people who have strong historical foundations in the community. And if some of you may not have noticed him yet, he came in right at the beginning of the service and is sitting in the very back right now. But your senior minister for the last 20 years, before last year, Reverend Doug Fogelsong. What a history we have with Reverend Doug. And of course, his beloved Corey's here with us too. And so we're so grateful to have you guys joining us today. You know, there's a huge history. We are building on the shoulders of giants. We are building a community on the shoulders of people who have dedicated their lives to building community, to being in community with each other, to allowing that community to grow and flourish and prosper. We now have our community that currently is. And right now we are in the process of waiting for our building. And so just to give you a little update, we had movement this past week. We still don't have the dates for the town hall meetings, but we're so much closer. So we're waiting for them. We actually were told we were going to get them last week, and we still haven't received the email yet. But we're very close to having our town hall meeting so that we can then move forward with the process of obtaining the permits to build out our new space over on East Russell Road. And so we're very excited about that. And so currently, this is what it is. We are meeting periodically in different places. We are so grateful to have a warm place today because the last two have been a little cold. It wasn't bad for me because I was up moving around, but the people that were sitting in the shade were, And we have bathrooms, like I said. So in case you're wondering, the bathroom's behind that door over there. I was going to mention that earlier. So if you need to make use of the facilities. And then we have the community that will be, what we are growing into. And again, this is brought forth when we engage in spiritual practices and open up to the possibility that's available for us as we move into this new, greater yet to be, into this new thing that we call the Community of Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. We're so excited about what is possible here and what is transforming here and what we are open to doing here. So, I think that we are on the precipice of something wonderful happening. I feel it all the time. I feel it moving through me. I feel it when I'm in groups with other people. And I'm so excited to see what is possible as we move forward into our new space. And so if you would just keep that in mind and consciousness that there is an infinite possibility happening here. It may not be happening exactly on our time schedule, but we know it's moving forward the best way that it will, and Spirit's highest and greatest good is flowing forth through it. Who knows, with everything that's happening, we could wind up having lower prices for our build-out because we've had to wait longer. We don't know what's going to happen, but infinite possibilities are available, and we are excited about them. So if you would with me right now, let's take this into prayer, knowing that the highest and greatest good for this community and for each one of us individually is unfolding right now. And so if you will, just take a moment and connect. I do that by just closing my eyes, taking in a purposeful breath, allowing my body to become still, and my mind to connect with my heart. And so right here and right now, I feel that presence. I know that it is the only thing that ever is. That one loving creative intelligence that was brought forth everything into existence. That is the isness and the allness and the fullness of all life. And that inherent within this love intelligence is creativity, compassion, and purpose. There is a divine wisdom that is flowing through all of life, that is showing up in the best and perfect way for the highest and greatest good of all. Because I know there's only one. I know that I am one with it. I know that divine dynamic energy is moving through me, creating and opening me to a greater yet to be. Because I know this is true for me, I know this is true for each one of us. Not only those of us that are physically here in this room, but anyone that hears my voice later on, anyone, in fact, everyone. For nothing exists outside of this one. There is no separation between this divine loving intelligence and each of its beautiful incarnations and manifestations. And so knowing this, I speak this word of truth. I know that right here and right now, there is a dynamic energy that is creating itself as our beloved community, as Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. I know that there is a flow of infinite possibilities that is just making itself known through subtle and direct ways. I know that each one of us is that place where those possibilities land, where they take form, where they show up in all of their fullness and wholeness. That each one of us is that open and receptive vessel for the impress of Spirit in a unique and perfect way. I know this is the truth of each one of us individually, and I know that it is the truth of this community. For we are only a microcosm of the greater community in this world. And that as we open up to these infinite possibilities and allow them to express themselves as our community, we enhance and enrich the lives of all around us. I am so, so grateful for this gathering today, this gathering of beloved souls, of like minds, of individual hearts and hands. For I know that there is a perfection and a magnificence that is unfolding through, in, and as everyone here today. And so I release this word into the law, into that creative, dynamic energy that always knows exactly what to do and does it beautifully and perfectly. I let it be, and I let it go. And so it is. Amen. So now is that time that we share our tithes and offerings. We have Evelyn and Karen with their baskets here. If you would, if you are giving your gift here today, hold it near your heart. If you're giving electronically or in some other form today, just put your hands over it. If you're going to give when you get home, put your hands over your heart too. And just take in a moment and express the gratitude that you have for this community and for what is unfolding here and right now. And if you would, we have a little Christmas medley for you to enjoy while we're doing this.
You made the little words.
You
Go ahead and sing
better
along.
watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's making a list, he's checking it twice, gonna find out who's naughty or nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake, he knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Wow. You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white.
Oh, yeah. Give it up for yourself. My gosh. We're going to get a little funky now.
Yeah.
Clap your hands. It makes me feel better.
Hang all the mistletoe, I'm gonna get to know you better this Christmas. And as we trim the tree, how much fun it's gonna be together this Christmas. The fireside is blazing bright, we're caroling through the night, and this Christmas will be a very special Christmas for me. this Christmas, and as I look around, your eyes outshine, it's how they do. This Christmas, the fireside still blazing bright. Oh, we're caroling through the night. And this Christmas will be a very special Christmas for me. Get together and make this Christmas right. Get together to make this Christmas right. Dance break. Come on, who's dancing? My man, Merry Christmas. Pound it for Christmas. Pound it for Christmas. How we doing? We doing all right? Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Come on. Come on. The fireside's still blazing bright. Oh, we're caroling tonight. And this Christmas will be a very special Christmas for me. Yeah. Shake a hand now. Come on, everybody, shake a hand now. Family, yeah, we'll get together and make this Christmas right. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Come on, come on, come on, come on. We'll get together and make this Christmas right. We'll get together and make this Christmas right. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Way too much fun. Thank you so much, Mackenzie, Justin. All right, so we have a couple announcements here. First off, you might have noticed some beautiful little arrangements over there. I've snagged mine already. These are done by our beautiful resident florist, Kaylee Marshall. This is a fundraiser for our teens, for them to go to camp. So we have teens that are heading to camp this winter, and then we have teens that will be going to camp in summer. So they are available on the table back here for you to purchase if you'd like to have a little flower arrangement to take home with you. If you need a quick gift, it's lovely, lovely flowers. So they smell great and look beautiful. So thank you, Kaylee, for that. We really appreciate it. You might also notice there's some books out here. We have two of our beloved practitioners have created new works this last couple of months here. And so as Paul is holding up here, Kelly Capsar has Knots. Is it Knots Unwound? Knots Unwound journal for, I'm going to let Kelly come up and tell you about it, because you know what, I'm just stuttering over it. I know I have one, I've worked with it, it's great, but you know, she can tell you better.
So it is actually Knots Unwound, a daily check-in to guide your health, happiness, and wholeness. So I'm going to ask your indulgence, and I want you all to take a breath and go inside and think of 2 things you're grateful for right now. Okay, everybody got it? Okay, now I want you to take a breath and tune into your body and ask, what do I notice about my body right now? Does it feel easy? Does it feel sluggish? Is my spine feeling really loose and free? What do you notice? And take a breath. And ask, what would support my body most right now? Like in particular, if, you know, your spine came up, what does my spine need today? How can how can my spine feel nourished and supported? Okay. And take one more breath. And think of 2 things that are creative, that make you laugh, that make you feel like you've played. Okay, and as you're ready, come on back. So I want you all to give yourself a gold star for the day because you just did 3 practices that help you build the trust muscle of becoming your own best friend, of becoming your own inner sanctuary. And that's what this is really about. It evolved out of my practices. Last year in November, I was working out of 2 journals. And I got frustrated, and so I started using my colored pencils and making up my own journal. And I asked Paul to put it on the computer for me because it got too much drawing and not enough being. And a sneaky thing that he's like, oh, I can't do that. And he said, send it up to your person who helps you with the marketing. And she's like, perfect, we're going to create a product. I'm like, what? What? So, it is 13 weeks of daily practice, and these are practices that I have, or categories, because it's not a practice. You get to figure out the practice that works best for you at that moment, at this day. And you cannot do this wrong. It's about building trust. It's about building relationship with yourself, with your body, with all of that. So we've got them over here. If you think it would support you and help you, I would love to have you do that. And I'm English. English. Sometimes it just doesn't come in English. It's kind of crazy. So Friday mornings at 8:30 on Facebook, we come together and we can fill it out together, and classes and other things are in process. So, and at the heart of it, truly what I would love for you all to be, what I would love for all of us to be, what I would love for the community to be, is our own personal best friend, and then we can be everybody else's best friend. So thank you.
And so we also have Kelly Marshall, who has created new products too. And so Kelly's going to come up and tell us a little bit about her stuff. It's fabulous. Both Kellys are working on stuff and making things happen here in our community.
Stand exactly here. I think maybe you can hear me now. Oh, well, it's so wonderful to be here with all of you today. And yes, inside where it's warm, we know what it's like out there. I have also brought with me today something that I started working on a couple of years ago. It is called The First Steps, and whether you're an experienced journaler or meditator, or if you've been in other spiritual practices, or if you're a beginner, this is a book that meets you where you are. There are 5 steps to go through that include different exercises and things like that, and then a 30-day journaling process that checks in with you in the morning and in the evening. And then finally at the end, a re-evaluation of everything that you've gone through or done in that 30-day period. So I hope that you'll stop by and take a look at that. I also brought what I call a fun journal. It is just a place to keep notes and write stories or make lists or jot down your feelings. I think I've already sold a couple of those today, and I hope that you enjoy them. And the last thing is a 2023 affirmation calendar. I think you might have seen the one that we did before, but this is brand new for 2023. So I hope you'll stop by and take a look at what I've brought today. Thank you.
And to support her work, Kelly Marshall has a visioning workshop coming up on January 29th. It's going to be at the Enterprise Library, not too far from here. Information's on our website for that. Just a couple other brief announcements here. We're going to be doing our special Christmas Eve presentation and candle lighting online again. It's similar to what we did last year, and Joe has worked his magic and created a beautiful video presentation for candle lighting on Christmas Eve. It'll be broadcast at 7 o'clock on our YouTube channel. And then our Sunday morning service on Christmas morning will be our regular service, again broadcast at 10 a.m. on our YouTube channel. So we hope you take opportunity to watch those. On January 22nd, we're going to be doing an online new member orientation. For anybody that's interested in membership here with our center, it'll be about 90 minutes, possibly up to 2 hours on an online presentation. Again, more information is coming out on the e-blast and on our website. Our sacred circles are beginning to get active again, and so watch out for the information coming out about that. I know Justin's Infinite Way group is going to be starting again in the mid-January. And is your group starting again, Karen? Not yet? Okay, we're coming up soon. Yours is? Your group is starting again, Judy? Great. So watch our website, all of the information about our sacred circles. That's our small group ministries. This is where you can get to come together with a smaller group of people and connect in a deeper way, generally around either a topic or an idea. Sometimes it's a class kind of setting. Sometimes it's a book study. Depends on what the focus is for each one of those. And so, again, watch that. And then on February 26th, we will have our annual membership meeting. It will be online. You'll get more information about that, but we're starting to announce it now. And we're going to have fellowship here. We've got coffee and hot water with tea and cocoa cookies. All kinds of goodies here. We invite you to stay and have a little fellowship with us. We haven't been able to do that for a while, and so it's nice to come together. Please visit our table over here with our wonderful practitioners' products and our beautiful floral arrangements for our youth church. We're so, so grateful that you were here with us today, and we so look forward to being with you together again in community like this. And so we're looking at different avenues to bring that about. So just keep an eye out on the website and on the newsletters the website and the e-blast for that. Kelly, your English language thing is working on me. All right, I think it's time for us to sing again. So we've got one of my favorite songs up here. So, David.
Shine, we made it through the night.
good.